Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Explorer 2 reference 216570. You can see and you can purchase this 42mm latest generation Explorer 2 on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images, and naturally complete pricing details for this Rolex Explorer 2. Now, it's been a while since I've featured the Explorer 2 of the latest generation on the channel, and I've included a few new features in the reviews since then, so I thought it was time to revisit this popular and imposing reference. And I say imposing because it is, along with the Deep Sea Sea Dweller and the Yachtmaster 2, the 42mm current generation 2011 to present Explorer 2 is one of the largest references in the contemporary Rolex catalog. So 42mm is the measurement across the round of the case from 3 to 9, not including the crown or crown guards. You'll note that though the crown guards are pared down and minimalist in size, nevertheless they managed to offer a more complete coverage of the crown they shield than almost any other Rolex sporting reference. Now, it is a thin watch. The timepiece is only 12mm thick in spite of its span across the wrist, and with a generously sloped conical 24-hour bezel, it easily slides underneath a dress cuff or a tight sleeve. Don't worry about wearing this one with a loose sweater, a sport jacket, or a blazer. You can wear this one with the tightest dress cuffs you have with absolutely no fear of getting hung up. But from lug to lug, it's a big watch. It's 50mm from lug to lug, and when you include the solid end links of the bracelet, the outermost outcroppings on each side, the watch has an imposing stance of 53.5mm across the wrist, and that's almost exactly what you'll see from a traditional 44mm Panerai Luminor. So that's the size class in which this watch finds itself. Unlike the Yachtmaster 2 and the Deep Sea Sea Dweller, however, Rolex achieves a better match between the width of the tapering oyster bracelet and the width of the lugs, so you don't feel like the bracelet is undersized for the width of the case. It's actually a very judicious match in this instance. Now you can see the bracelet and the case are beautifully finished with contrasting brushed satin finish and high polish for accenting highlights. Now it tapers down to a Rolex milled out deployant clasp, very solid, very secure. When the clamshell locks, this is staying shut. When it opens, you find that there's a convenient 5mm adjustment known as Easy Link that Rolex includes, so you have 5mm to take in or take out as your activity waxes and wanes, as hot and cold weather can subtly change the size of your wrist, allows easy on-the-fly adjustments without resort to a screwdriver or a watchmaker. Now the watch also features a broad but flat case. From 2011, the Explorer 2 grew substantially. Just as the original Explorer grew in 2010, so did the Explorer 2, and it has an intermediate size between the 40mm of the Sea Dweller 4000, the GMT Master, and the Submariner, and the Milgauss, and the 44mm of the Deep Sea Sea Dweller and the Yachtmaster 2, but the case does wear compact and wieldy, and I would say that though my wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, this watch is well sized and ergonomically shaped such that you could probably wear it securely and with great proportion on a wrist down to 14.5 centimeters in circumference. Now the dial is a standout. The first thing you notice is just how big it is. The combination of the black dial with the white metal is a little bit more true to Explorer 2 history, as the original early 70s variants with their orange arrow hands, needle seconds hand, and of course their first generation calibers and bezels were very much in the mold of the watch you see here. Black dial, stainless steel, and of course it should be noted that the hands at their base, where they join at the cannon pinion, are actually blacked out to create a phantom look that recalls those first 1971 and 72 Explorer 2 references. So the phantom look of the floating hands is an exclusive to the black dialed variant of the current Explorer 2. The standard white dial does not have that becoming detail. The watch also has immense luminescent plots. It's a very easy timepiece to see in low or no light conditions, and it's equipped with the latest caliber 3187, which is a special movement built in a dual time function. So it has that traditional Explorer 2 mid-80s to present ability to set the 24-hour hand separate from the local hand, not a feature of the original Explorer 2s in the early 70s. But what this also has is Rolex's own in-house Parashock shock absorption system. It has a bigger base plate with a broader date wheel to fill out the larger dial, and of course it has the Parachrom blue hairspring, anti-magnetic, and also with a Breguet overcoil architecture such that it not only gives you resistance to magnetically induced timing variation, but also gravitationally or positionally induced timing variation. Now, the free-sprung balance with a dual-anchored balance bridge gives the watch resistance to shock-induced timing variation. And though the Explorer 2 was originally designed for cave explorers and polar explorers who would need a distinction between AM and PM along a 24-hour scale where light may be scarce or, in the case of the poles, occasionally constant, the watch does feature 100-meter water resistance, so it is ready to take the plunge should you be elsewhere than polar climes. This watch can readily swim, conduct shallow snorkeling off the diving board, on the jet ski, no fear. It's a land and water sports watch in the modern era. And it's also immensely handsome. Again, the combination of the black dial with the beautifully oversized luminescent plots and the brushed and polished stainless steel case is simply handsome. Less bulky than the rotating bezel sports watches, it does have an elegance that is exclusive to those Rolexes with the fixed bezel architecture. You can see and you can purchase this Rolex Explorer 2 216570 on our website.